Over the last couple of days, I worked with a Counter-Strike skin artwork creator on a showcase of my Vulcan and Howl. But I wanted the render to be much more than just an artsy show-off of the skins. And after some thought, I realized it would be possible to create a scene that ties back to my time with Counter-Strike over the last 22 years. In this video, I'll go through the references in mostly reverse chronological order. I'll tie in old screenshots, and we'll launch into some old versions of the game where it makes sense. So of course, the heroes of the piece are the Howl and the Vulcan, two skins that I'm promising to myself to never sell. I've made a couple of videos on the channel referencing the Vulcan before, but in case you haven't seen them, it's a recent pickup I got that has a 0001 float and is the 8th cleanest Vulcan in the world. I turned it into a Nico Grand Final souvenir to commemorate him finally getting his major win. No doubt, an important moment in Counter-Strike history. Next to it is the Howl. If you've seen some of my gameplay videos, you've probably seen it appear. It means a lot to me, but I don't really talk about it much on this channel. I first had one in 2015, and I kept it until the end of 2019, and then, as I was getting back into skins over the last year and a half, I got a new one. I really do consider the Howl to be my forever skin. Like, most of my time in CSGO was with one. I love the design. I love kind of like how special it is. And because I have this mindset that I'm never going to sell it, I decided this year to upgrade it to StatTrack. Both of them originate from the Huntsman case, and so in the render, I asked for Huntsman cases to be featured as a way to tie both skins back to their single place of origin. On the left of the skins is a framed picture of a dragon lore. This is the first tie back to something from the past. I used to own a factory new dragon lore from 2015 until the end of 2019, when I sold it in December. It was a different time back when factory new dragon lore sold for less than what Karambit Fates go for today. This skin wasn't able to make it into the 10 years of matchmaking video, the one that, continues to do well on my channel, but there's several clips of it in the Mirage video that I made a few months ago. I'll never own a dragon lore again, but I'm happy that the framed photo acts as a nod to my previous ownership. Now we move to the right half of the scene, where I purposefully wanted my own nostalgia strings to get pulled. There's a lot going on here. Maybe the loudest part is the obnoxious logo, if you can even call it that my old REWD DEWDS crew used to use. These were the guys I played a ton of CSGO with, and to this day, when I queue with people, it's almost always someone from that group. This is the logo of the Steam group, and some obnoxious video highlights that I used to make would close with this logo as well. I don't think I can include those highlights in this video because of copyrighted music in them, but maybe I'll link out to one. Anyways, underneath them are postcard-style printouts of some old CSGO maps that I'm sure a lot of people watching this video will recognize. On the left, we have Cobblestone's iconic outside yard. This was more or less the version of Cobble that existed in the game from 2013 to 2019. Just over 5 years, and less than that if you count the time that it was in active duty. And on the right, we have what to me is the definitive, iconic, forever version of Inferno T-Spawn. This was the T-Spawn used in 2004's Counter-Strike Source, ported over to CSGO in 2012, and it lasted as Inferno's T-Spawn until 2016, when it was replaced by this version. And today, in Counter-Strike 2, we have this version, but even today, 22 years later, there's a nod to the iconic bells. I hope to one day soon visit the real version of this T-Spawn, which is about an hour outside of LA. Towards the left of this are two collectible pins I have. I associate them with early CSGO majors because, as far as I know, all the physical pins came from packets given out to major attendees. In the artwork, they're oversized, like they're bigger than in real life, but I like that. The Inferno one I got from eBay a couple months after Katowice 2015. This was before any North American major had been announced, and so before I knew I'd later be able to get some packs for myself. Back in 2015, like you might have been able to deduce from that postcard of T-Spawn, Inferno was my favorite map, and so that's why I got the Inferno one. It came from someone in Poland. The black pin is called a Guardian Elite pin. I got it at the MLG Columbus Major in early 2016. I wish I could say I unboxed it myself, but I'd be lying. No, I paid someone at the event for it. Today, I have both of these pins in a little area of my wall that I dedicated to Counter-Strike. Next is what I described to the artwork creator as an old, weathered notebook with some old, worn stickers on it. And this is the part where we begin to transition from CSGO memories to Counter-Strike source memories from the 2000s. But first, we have a simple nod to CSGO, a memorable logo for a memorable game. Then we have an ESEA sticker, which some of you might still remember since it was basically North America's face-it during CSGO up until it shut down its PUG service in 2023. But really, I think it had started to die even before that. I know that it was healthy up until around 2018 or 2019 probably. I honestly didn't play a ton of ESEA during most of my CSGO years, but I did play some, and I definitely played much more of it in 2012, 2013, right after CSGO first launched, and during my Counter-Strike source years. If you watch my 2014 laptop video, there's a section where I go through old screenshots, and many of them are from ESEA. The ESEA sticker is sandwiched in between Counter-Strike source references. First, of course, is the CSS sticker itself. In retrospect, I could agree that Source was the inferior game to 1.6, but to me, it's still an important title in the franchise because it's what got me into Counter-Strike. It was bundled for free with Half-Life 2, and I launched it shortly after beating that game. It's crazy in a way that I still play it to this day. Above the ESEA logo is what might look like a cryptic logo for many, but I hope that at least some people watching will recognize it. This was the logo for the Cyberathlete Amateur League, or CAL. If you haven't heard of it, then I'm not surprised, but you may have heard of CPL, which were lands that these days some people refer to as the majors before there were majors. Well, CAL was ran by the same people as an online league. It's basically what ESEA League is today, except back then, the skill floor was much lower because it was more or less the only way to play Counter-Strike in a 5v5 format. So whereas today, not everyone plays the ESEA League because of matchmaking, back then, anyone playing 5v5 pretty much played in CAL. There were other leagues that existed too, but CAL had by far and away the biggest presence in North America, and the entire 5v5 scene revolved around it. Like I mentioned, there was no matchmaking at the time, so if you wanted to play a 5v5 game, you'd basically hop onto IRC, which was basically a primitive version of Discord with no calling, like no audio calls, no video calls, and you'd join servers and channels to find other teams to play against. All of it revolved around the online leagues, so while it wasn't strictly necessary to register your group of 5 onto the league, you might as well, because it was free and, like, why not? Seemingly everyone else in the scene was doing that, and so you would too as well. And back then there was no Reddit, right? So all the discussion, the trolling, the hype, complaining about the game, complaining about Valve, complaining about cheating, LAN announcements, all of it largely revolved on forums. And the CAL forums were one of the major hubs along with HLTV and GotFrag. I won't keep going on about it, but yeah, what likely looks like a cryptic logo to many today had tremendous meaning to any North American playing competitive 5v5 Counter-Strike in the 2000s. CAL eventually folded in 2008 or 2009 alongside CPL. And finally, we have a postcard of Contra, which was one of many 5v5 competitive maps played in leagues back then. I have a lot of good memories playing on this map, and remember it being one of my favorites. I'm not really sure why we've never gotten it added into CSGO or CS2 as even a community map, when maps like Season and Tuscan had a temporary time in the game. I haven't played this map 5v5 since 2009, and so I have absolutely no idea what my opinion of it would be now. Maybe it's a bad competitive map? Like, I don't know. But I don't really remember anyone thinking that back in the day. It was a pretty popular 5v5 map. And that's it. I'm really happy with the final result. In the end, it can be described as simply another artwork showcasing some Counter-Strike skins, but I'm happy that there's so many nods in here if you look a little bit deeper.